Today we celebrate always the week after Pentecost is the celebration of All Saints. And it is a celebration of the church where we are commemorating all of the saints of the church whom we do not know. We may not have very much history on them, any history on them. We know that millions of people have martyred for the church and continue to martyr for their faith in all parts of the world. And their names may not be recorded, they may not have a synopsalion in the book of the saints, we may not have their names or their dates or anything. But we honor them, especially the martyrs, because the Lord God has honored them and they are saints in paradise. And we celebrate this, and some of you who have kind of those off names celebrate today your name days, because there might not be a saint whatever. Or you may not be able to find it, and so you celebrate today because hopefully there is somewhere out there a saint with your name on him or her. And so the church celebrates this great victory of Orthodoxy, this great victory of Christianity, of the thousands and millions of people who have somehow found themselves to be in paradise with God. And as I was standing at the altar table, I wondered, what about all those thousands and millions of people who are not even close to there and are not saints in the church, that have been left behind, that somehow and for some reason they did not achieve the kingdom? From the time of Jesus Christ, his apostles, until today, there are millions of people who have heard the word of God and have rejected it either through their outright desire to reject it, through their life, through their ways, through their words, through their thoughts, but they have remained outside of the kingdom. And what about them who are suffering in that state? Do we think about them and have we thought about how many of those people are not in the kingdom? And without going into history just today, in our own world where we know that Christianity and the numbers of our churches are somehow getting smaller, sometimes exponentially. And in today's world, we know that many people are rejecting the Word of God, rejecting the law of God, which is simply love. And they are doing their own thing, and I study great company of our own people are not here today, or hardly ever, or think that once or twice a year is good enough, which may be fine, it's between them and God. But how many of our own people are, as I said, at Welcome Mall, on the golf course, so on and so forth, and are not in the church or praying or doing things like that? And I actually want to talk about, just very quickly, as I was thinking about all the university kids who are leaving in September, who are finishing high school for the first time, who will be leaving home, and the statistics of those children, and how many of them we lose in university are huge. And what have we done to prepare them for universities? Are we happy enough to lose 50% of them? Are we okay with that? Are we okay with losing 50% of our children from our homes and from our churches? I don't think we should be. And I think that we have to ask ourselves, have we prepared them to be Christians in the outside world on their own, to be believers with their own heart and their own faith? And I worry about those children because they are entering a world which is huge. The knowledge of the world today is simply at their fingertips, and they don't need you and they don't need me to know anything. They have Google. And for the first time, they don't need parents and adults to learn. And so they are faced with a world that can teach them very good things, and they are faced with a world that can teach them very bad things. And so we have to ask ourselves, have we made them saints up until now? Have we kept them close to church as saints should be up until now? Have we given them the weapons and the tools to be faithful Christians in the days to come and in the years to come? Very formative years. And, as I heard recently, you might be astounded at this, many of our faithful children who go to university will actually lose their faith within 2 weeks of university, the first 2 weeks of university. I wonder what we have done sometimes to prepare our children for those first 2 weeks of university. Have we made the efforts that we should have we worried that they will become part of the all saints? Or have we worried, or we don't care, maybe that they will become part of the group that is not in the kingdom of God? And so as we celebrate All Saints, I don't mean to be a downer. All Saints is a celebration. Millions and millions of people who we do not know and who we know and hopefully will enter the kingdom, they are part of the celebration of All Saints. Millions. But there's also that other group of people whom maybe we have forgotten. Maybe the church is at fault for some of them. Maybe the human ego is at fault for many others as well. Maybe it is our own personal relationship with them that cause them to go away from God. And so we need to consider these things on such a great celebration of the church, but there is still that other group. And I said it in Greek. God told us when there's 100 sheep, and you lose one, you leave the 99 and you go and get the one. We in the church today are not even dealing with 99. We're dealing with about 7% of our faith. And we don't leave the 7% and go and get the other 93 or 1 or 2 or 3. We're almost happy with 7%. And I find that discouraging and disheartening as a priest and as a church and as a Christian that we are almost happy with 7% of our people. We as Christians are called to be shepherds. Go to bring people to Christ and preach the word of God. Good morning.